Alright, so you've finished Unit 1 and we're going to begin Unit 2. There's a few projects we're going to skip to start with, mainly because the brochure, which is the project we're going to work on today, is a very large project, and I want you to have plenty of time to do this project and do it well. So today we're going to work on our brochure. The first thing you're going to do, as always, is open up your BoxSync folder, CEO Challenge, and open up your student workbook. Now our student workbook today, we're going to be moving all the way to page number 88. Alright, so once we get to page 88, we can kind of get an idea of what we're going to be doing. As always, you have step-by-step instructions. We'll see a sample of what our brochures might end up looking like when they're done. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of different ways of doing a brochure. Each of these is very different, and yours is going to be different. It's not going to look exactly like any of these, so I want you to really express some of your own freedom, style, artistic choice. But to start with, there's a few things we need to do. And first is just to know what we're going to need in a brochure. There's some things that we need to have, which is a title, information about our company, our mission statement, a bio on you, key personnel, maybe one of your officers, information on your company, what products or services are you providing. You need to have your logo. You've spent a lot of time working on your logo, so use it. A map of your location, so whatever address you picked. If you made up an address, that's okay. We can just use any kind of map of the general area. Maybe coupons if you want to use a coupon. And then what do your products or your services cost? So the first thing we're going to do, it tells us on step number 2, is we're going to open up a template named Brochure Template. So we find that by clicking on BoxSync Folder, CEO Challenge, and Student Templates. Now we're in Unit 2, and the template we're going to want to use is this Brochure Template. So we're going to click on Brochure Template, and you're going to see how your brochure is going to look. This is a blank template. First thing you do when you open it is you're going to File, Save As, and you're going to want to make sure that you're inside of your student work folder. You're going to save it as your name or your number, your name, and then we're going to save it as brochure. Now brochure is a little bit hard to spell, so make sure you're looking at your student handbook if you need to know how to spell it, but it's Brochure. And then we'll hit save. Now this is going to seem a little bit confusing, but your front panel, the very first thing you'll see is on this far right. Your back panel is here in the middle, and your side panel is here. The inside, once you open it all the way up and look on the inside, is on this side, and it goes from left to right, so it's a little easier to figure out how it works. But this front page with the front, back, and side, it's a little confusing that the front panel is going to be all the way over here on the right, but once you fold it, it'll make sense. The best way to get an idea what it's going to look like, again, is to look at the samples. So as you can see, this is going to be on the very front, this will be on the back, and this will be on the side when it's opened. This page will be on the inside. Same with this one. We've got the very front, this will be what we see on the front, this is what we're going to see on the very back, and this is what we're going to see on the side. All of these will be on the inside. So now that we've saved it, there's a few things we want to make sure we do right off the bat, and that is to add, and again we have step-by-step instructions, so make sure you're following step-by-step instructions. But we need to have our company name, and again we can make it a little more exciting than just this blank template, but to start with, let's put our company name. Let's make my front a little bigger, and I want to make my font a little different, so let's make it a little larger. Let's choose a different font. Let's use this American typewriter. And of course you can change the background, you can change the font color, but to start with, before we start doing any changes like that, let's at least get the information in. So as we see, we need to have the company name, we need to have our logo, a motto, teaser, or mission statement, and address if not on the back. I'm going to use the address on the back, so I'm going to get the logo from my student file, so I'm going to go to Insert, Photo, and a Picture from File, and I need to make sure I'm under Box Sync, CEO Challenge. Did not mean to open that up. Box Sync, CEO Challenge, Student Work, and then click on your file. Now you're going to open up your logo, so I'll click mine. And remember, you're going to have really weird things happening with anything you put in, any kind of text box or logos, if the wrap text is on, if it's in line with text. It's easiest just to change it to none, or I think through will work also. So that'll work. I just set it to through. You might change it to none. Well, all right. Let's try instead of through. Remember, it's control click. Let's change it to none and see if that's any better. Okay, that looks pretty good. It was moving stuff over here, so I think none is probably going to be your best bet. And then I can make my logo and put it anywhere on this front. I might want to do it right underneath. I might choose to do it on the very bottom. That's really up to you. Now that I have a logo, I'm going to want to put my mission statement or my catchphrase, my tagline, and I can find that information by going to Box Sync, CEO Challenge, Student Work, and you'll notice that all of that information is on your company overview. You've already filled out all this information, so go ahead and use it. You're going to use a lot of this. You're going to use your street address, phone numbers, website, so you might as well have this open the entire time you're working on this project. So let's use my tagline. I really like the tagline. So I'm going to want to insert, and let's do a text box. Let's put it right here. And because the text box is set to wrap, I'm going to have to hold down Control, click, and change wrap text to none. That will fix the issues. Alright, so now that I'm in here, I'll paste. So I copy Command C, I paste with Command V. And we're going to want to make this font a little larger so it can be seen. Maybe center it, make it a little bigger, change the font. And I've already got a good start to my brochure. Now let's look at the sample and see how mine looks compared to theirs. So I have my company name at the top, I have my tagline, I have my logo, they have an address. I'm going to put my address on the back, so you can maybe add a little more here if you want to make your logo bigger. And remember, I don't want to tell you too much on how this should look, because at this point you should know how to insert text boxes, you should know how to insert pictures, how to move things, how to change background colors, because we are going, I want to give you freedom on this. You need to have the right information, but how it looks is really up to you. Yours shouldn't look exactly like anybody else's. So if you want to add background colors, if you want to change the font, if you want to put a box around the font, these are all things that you can do and should do if you want yours to look really nice. Again though, I'm not going to tell you exactly what it should look like because it's going to look different. So this is what your front page could look something like this. We can change some background colors. This first sample, it's pretty white, and that's okay. You can have it just white background, or you can change the background, make it something a little bit more like this. But I think this is a good start. Now we can move on to the back, and our back, which remember it tells us right here, the back panel is in the middle. Well, it actually tells us to work on the side panel next, but let's move to the back. So when you're on the back, you're going to look here, and you're going to need to make a map of your location. Now because I don't have the address I made, 777 Lucky Street, which is my address for this company, isn't a real address, so we're going to have to do it a little bit different. So we would open up our internet, and let's go to Google Maps. And it should kind of give a basic general idea of where we're at. So if you know that yours is going to be in a certain location, maybe by a mall, and you know the address, you've actually used a real address, you can put that in. But because I don't have an actual location yet, I'll go ahead and just zoom in on a random spot, and we'll say that my company is going to be here. So instead of doing an image, the other way we can do it is, instead of finding exact location, is kind of how it says, is to just put a map of the city. We could see what that would look like under Google search for images. And we can just get a picture of San Diego. This one looks pretty nice. So I'll click on view image. Won't let me view that one. Alright, so I've pulled up this image. My company doesn't actually show it, but for the sake of this brochure, we'll say that this map indicates where my company is. So we would control right click and save image as. And we want to make sure that we save it as map. And where we want to save it is box sync. CEO challenge, student work, and our name. That way, and we should probably put our number in front of it. We can always find this and use it later if we need to. So I've got the map saved. And I can now insert this map on the back. So I'm going to insert from file. We know where it's at. And like always, control, click, and turn wrap text off. If you don't turn this off, you're going to run into a lot of problems, so make sure you turn it off. Now I can move this map and now I've got the beginnings of the back panel. Then it wants us to put website information, address, motto, or mission statement. I've already got my tagline, so I might put the mission statement and any extra information. As you see in the sample, on the back of this one, they kind of show what it is that their company uses or makes or does. So for this one, they're a computer company, so they have computers, printers, digital cameras. So for your back panel, you might choose to just list some of the things your company sells. If you're a sports store, what items do you sell? If you're a service, what kind of services do you provide? And you're going to want to put your address, information of where exactly you are, and a website address. Again, we find this information on our company overview. You'll notice my address is already here. So is my web page. Right. So with all of this information, at least for some of it, we can just copy and paste, and we're always going to need to make a new text box. We're going to want to change, delete. We don't want it to actually say back panel, side panel. But for this project, it's really important that, one, you follow the instructions and you put the assignments, each thing that needs to be. So the back panel, we know we need a map. So it's important that you put a map. But how you put it, is it on the top? Is it in the middle? Is it on the bottom? That's going to be left up to you. Where you have your information, the coloring of your text, all of that is really up to you. So I want you to use some of your own creativity here, and we need to use all of the information we've already learned. At this point, you should not be struggling with turning wrap text off. You should not be struggling with inserting text box. You should not be struggling with changing font size and color. And remember, as we are doing these things, we want to continually be saving. You don't need to hit save as, but you do need to hit save.